So, stress shows up in all of our lives, sometimes as sleepless nights, sometimes as a racing mind, sometimes as that undercurrent of tension that we can't quite shake. So, for the past 2 months, I've actually been using a device called Sensate, and it's unlike any device that I've tried before. And within minutes, I feel my whole body start to shift from wired and tense to grounded and calm. And that is why I'm so excited to share this conversation with you today. Our guest is Anna Gudmundson, CEO and co-founder of Sensate. This is the groundbreaking wearable that's helping people build stress resilience, improve sleep, and actually retrain their nervous system. And the best part, you can now find it right inside our own Life Market. Welcome to the Life Lounge podcast. This is your front row seat to everything happening inside Life Network. I am your host, Karie Johnson, and each week we bring you top voices, transformational brands, and insider updates you don't want to miss. This is where self-transformation meets community, because when we grow together, we go farther. So let's dive in. So today's guest, Anna Gudmundson, CEO, co-founder of Sensate, is a tech visionary with over 2 decades of experience in exponential technologies, including mobile, social media, and wellness tech. Driven by a passion for human potential, she leads Sensate's mission to enhance global stress resilience by combining cutting-edge science with ancient wisdom. Under her leadership, Sensate has grown into a global wellness brand, generating millions in revenue and expanding into clinics, homes, and now in our own Life Market. Welcome to the Life Lounge podcast, Anna.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
We're so grateful to have you here and to have your amazing product. Like I said, I've had it for about 2 months now. So, anything that I could use to help with stress resilience and management is I'm all for. So, and like I said, it does feel like kind of like a purring cat. You just feel that instant calm. So can you kind of, for the people who do not have the Sensate, can you kind of take us back? You had 20 years in, exponential tech, which is incredible. So what pulled you into the wellness and nervous system space to create this?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I've worked in a lot of big tech and also startups, and the kind of technology has really changed the fabric of our society, like mobile and social media and all of that, right? Um, so I started gravitating towards more like wellness, fitness, health tech. I ran a wearables company for a while, and really seeing what an incredible impact technology has in our lives and can have in our lives, and really motivated to use that superpower for massive positive impact in our lives.
Amazing.
And so yeah, I got connected to my co-founder, Stefan Malik, who has pioneered integrated healthcare in Europe. And he's one of these people who has not had the opportunity to wait for everything to become mainstream, but he's treated with his amazing group of clinicians when they run the clinic, so many people with complex health conditions, often stress and trauma related, and a lot of people that fall between tests, have gone with chronic disease and other issues for a long time. And what they found was that in order to, if there was as a common denominator for people who really recovered, it was good vagal nerve tone.
Interesting.
And if we think about that, because they had such a diverse number of conditions and issues, amongst their patients, but when we activate the stress response in the body, we suppress immune system, suppress digestive system. So obviously, so many interventions are going to be completely undermined, and your actual immune system is undermined, right? So they really needed to find a way for their patients to self-regulate at home. And I think interestingly as well, Stefan, they found that like some 15, 20 years ago, their sort of attention span fell off a cliff, and they used to be able to tell people meditate half an hour ago, and they come back and they did it. And now, that might be, part of one industry that I was part of, it was mobile, right?
Very true.
And so, as Stefan has an incredible knowledge about the body, and started tinkering with this sort of device, because he realized that the larger kit, which existed before with infrasonic waves around the body, was very helpful, even for people with PTSD and quite, severe anxiety. And I got introduced, and there were two really important elements of like the mega trends that I am interested in the second global impact. And one was that finally, I think we started to realize how important mental health and nervous system health is for everything, for being a
Everything.
good, for being a functioning being, for being
All right.
healthy, for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other mega trend is just that we're starting to understand the sort of vibrational aspect of nature or
Right.
wave over particle, and so I'm a bit of a nerd.
I love
And
it.
so I was just curious and started to work just helping Stefan and took an
Yeah.
advisory role. And then I started to see that this was no normal product, and I'm used to seeing such low retention in mass market consumer products, and this like 10x anything I'd ever seen, and even the
Wow.
highest performing products that I use and thought were amazing, etc. So
Amazing.
then I realized I need to take this very seriously,
Yeah.
and I took a board director role, and then I ended up co-founding the company
Oh
shortly
my
after with
gosh.
Stefan. So yeah, and it's been 5 years, a lot of work, being pioneering in a field that is
Yes.
largely unknown and manufacturing hardware and the rest of it. But I think
Mm-hmm.
what drives all of us is it really, really is helping people. And a product that people do not continuously use obviously has no impact. And the fact that we have this long going retention and short-term benefits and long-term benefits of the product
Yeah.
makes it all worth it. Yeah.
Right, because it is very easy. Like it's something that like I don't have to really, I just have it stack into things that I'm doing. And I did want to talk to you kind of like about best practices or, is it something that like the more you wear it, that the better your stress resilience becomes or HRV scores, all those type of scores, like you start to notice improvements, or is it just like little by little over time? You speak
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
Okay, so let's talk about that. And for anyone who's new to the product, it's a little pebble-looking device that you
Yep.
place on your
Oh, look at
sternum,
that.
and
Perfect.
you put on headphones.
Yeah.
You typically lie down. You can also use the lanyard to just recline, but you have the device in the sternum area where you get bone conduction.
Mhm.
And so you start a session in the app. The sessions are between 10 and 30 minutes, and so you will hear a sound through your headphones, and then you will really feel like Karie said, like a cat purr. You can feel it like a musical cat purr in the
Yeah.
chest. And because it's sonic waves, it travels through tissue. So it's not like vibration in a like mechanically vibrating, like a vibrator, for example.
Right, right, right.
It's sonic waves. So what's fascinating, obviously, is how calming this is for people, and really, where this comes from is the fact that we've been arming for thousands of years, and when we actually get the vibration into the center of our chest, we it really feels quite different, and and arming is for vagal nerve toning. So
Right. Exactly.
sometimes we've been arming in yoga for years, and it's like, why are we arming?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, actually,
Right.
it's to tone the vagus nerve, and so the benefits are really. I think what is so needed in the world right now is an easy way to relax.
Mhm.
And so most of our users are not necessarily actually biohackers. They're just really stressed and anxious. So most of our users find it, that's the majority of the population
That
that
I was gonna say, I'm like,
regularly
that's
feels
everybody.
really overwhelmed. I mean, like that's for a whole other podcast. Like,
Ah,
why is that?
so true.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I think a lot about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just finding a way to really relaxing, and there's so many reasons why I really love how this product works, because what we also know for any long-term benefits, we actually need to come into our bodies. That like we know that for PTSD, for anything, like we can't resolve it by being, for example, visually stimulated or getting out of our bodies. We need to come into our bodies,
Okay.
and it can be hard if we are not feeling good. But the fact is, this like soothing sonic cat purr feeling brings you
Mhm.
into your body without you having to just sit and pay attention to your pain, for example, right?
Right.
So I think it's a combination of, but it is so easy to use. You just place it on your chest and put it on, and the fact that this is just activating magic that already exists in the body. It's still, I mean, it still fascinates me, and
Mhm.
I love going to conferences and watching people. And often in the first session, we will see that like when people just sink
Mm.
into parasympathetic state towards the end of the session, because there's like resistance. And so when
Wow.
we talk about long-term benefits, I have now been using it obviously for years. I'm
Yeah.
not actually core target audience, but I'm very much in this audience. So
Yes.
optimizer, like kind of
Biohacker and
biohacker, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just use it for improvement. And what's fascinating is that now my nervous system responds within seconds when I start a Sensate session. So
That's good to know.
if I have a really stressful day and I want to get a rest in, I sleep. I'm not going to fall asleep immediately, and it doesn't give as deep nervous system relaxation, and I might not want to do that in the middle of the day. I love meditation. Everyone should meditate, but it's also very hard if you're in the middle of a work day. If I lie down and do a Sensate session now, one of my favorite Sensate sessions is 12 minutes. And my Aura Ring
Yeah, I have it
records
too.
11 minutes of deep rest
That's amazing.
out of my 12-minute sessions. And that was like, I didn't even expect that myself, because like, I'm just, like, I'm just an optimizer. I'm just doing it for long-term
Right.
benefits. But now that I've been using it for a while, so I do the same. I use it on flights. I know that Ben
Yeah.
Greenfield also used it
Yes.
on flights. So it's amazing for long-haul flights. But yeah, so I love the fact that it has both the short-term benefits of helping people that really feel overwhelmed and stressed and anxious.
Exactly.
But then or sleep issues, can't sleep.
Right.
But then also, that there's only good things with sort of using it in an ongoing basis, and that the
Yeah.
nervous system starts to then like really wire to go directly into deep relaxation.
Yeah, it adapts, and like you said, like for you now, it's like instant kind of like trigger for you, just to kind of like instantly go into that deep rest state. That's incredible. And so it does kind of make sense that the more that you do use it, that your body just kind of knows what to do at that point, and it can just kind of enter that stage a little
Yeah.
bit quicker.
Yeah, that is a fascinating thing with the nervous system. It's actually not that hard to train. Like it's, if we think that our, habits are not changeable, I am definitely, I have rewired myself so much. Like, I'm so grateful for my younger self to start to work on myself. I'm deeply committed to my personal growth,
Love it.
and so like the nervous system is really rewirable. I think
Yeah.
that's a message for me to humanity. But I would also say that, it's so important that everyone finds a way to self-regulate the nervous system,
Right.
and regularly on a daily basis make sure that we build that resiliency. So whether it's Sensate or some other method or breath work or whatever it is, but it's like so important that we find a way to self-regulate frequently. Yeah.
Yeah. Amen to that. That's a very powerful statement, because like you said, like that's a whole nother podcast too, just to get into the why behind it all. But everybody is dealing at that higher stress state, unfortunately, right now. So, but that is such a good point. Just to like, no matter what it is, you do need to make sure that you fit that in the beginning of the day, middle of the day, end of the day, just because it's, you're filling your cup up first, so you can continue to pour out to other people, and you're not going to be able to pour out from an empty cup. So it's I think it's like a non-negotiable, really.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Should be.
would you say that, so because it is meditation, it is breath works, like when I'm doing those sessions, would you say it's a way to kind of really enhance it even more, so you're able to tap in either a like quicker or deeper because you have that vibration?
Yeah, I'm talking with a pro here, obviously. So
Yeah.
we're going into that. So yeah, like, most of our users that I mentioned, like really just use it because they don't, they don't have any other way to self-regulate. Now we're talking to a lot of biohackers. So we do have a bunch of stackers.
Oh yeah.
And so obviously, and we have everything to like literally monks using the product, right? So,
Wow.
so, you can, and just as it's not, you can definitely do deep breathing at the same time. Definitely, um, whatever, if there's a body scan or something like that. I think, like the benefit is very often that Sensate is accessible and available when you're struggling to do other things.
Yeah.
But when
Right.
it comes to just optimization, I think, just very deep, slow breathing to get into that very, very deep nervous system state. So maybe even better than a body scan, which like is slightly active participation. But then, we have people that will lie on an acupuncture mat and do it and have their face red light at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's a less sort of different story. But certainly, like just slow, deep breathing on top of it is definitely very relevant. And what we find is that also just using a Sensate actually help people who are in a very stressed state also relax, and then you have access to those things, and so it sort of goes hand in hand.
Okay, that's good to know. So then is there I mean, like how so Ben uses it on the airplane. Is there other and I love the habit stack with the acupressure mat because I have one. I actually haven't done that with it. I'm like, I love the habit stack, so I'm gonna try that one next. Are there any other do you have to have the earbuds on in at the same time? That was one of my questions too. In order like is it just something so I could just do the vibration or does it have to be like with the sound
Yeah,
as
like
well?
we definitely recommend the combination, and
Yeah.
the frequencies in the hearable and the device are harmonized. And for anyone who has studied some music, or actually even like now there's more study on like even just how matter and even cells correspond to harmonized sonic frequencies or dissonant sonic frequencies. So I think that is a whole, I mean, like we can down a rabbit hole as well on music. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
fascinating, right? Like
It
how
really is.
these
And healing.
beings that we hear a certain type of combination of frequencies and we start moving in certain
Yeah.
ways. I mean, it's
It's
just
so
like,
true.
yeah, or enhance our emotions or make us feel good or happy. I mean, it's super fascinating. So, so we definitely recommend to use them together. Obviously, there's a lot of different sessions in the library. And but we there are also I am very aware that like especially when people have trained for a long time with a sensate, the nervous system recognizes it. So if, for example, they are on a very challenging call, they can actually just put it on and just like feel that anchoring.
Okay. That's
I think that works best when you've actually already been using the full session
true.
and trained your nervous system to recognize it for relaxation. So, we don't advertise any other use cases, but of course, there are people using the product in many other ways. And then there's use cases. I mean, we know that there are luxury spas that are using
Yeah.
it.
That's so
We know
cool.
that the whole Barbie cast
No
used
way.
the product
I didn't know
because
that.
also stress shows on the skin. So,
That's so cool.
yeah, yeah. So we're finding out all these use cases that how people are implementing the product. But again, like good vagal nerve tone and stress regulation is so fundamental from critical conditions. Like if you're going through cancer treatment, it's extremely stressful for your body and your mind and everything. To people in the longevity space that want to live until the 200, right? So
Right.
good vagal nerve tone is so fundamentals that you sort of need to find some way to improve it. So we have a very wide range of users. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I'm sure some incredible just testimonials too from people who
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe
for
to
sure.
come out of those places that is hard to get out of or just to assist with that or yeah. Is there any that come to mind that I mean, I love the Barbie story and like those are really cool too, but like any user cases that you know of that it has really helped them maybe just come out of a dark time or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think again, like that's what makes it worth it, like for the team, like
Yeah.
receiving these on pretty much a daily basis. We don't make any medical claims. It's just a relaxation product. We have a lot of people that have used it in medical circumstances that have also sent us a lot of love letters. But things like, a veteran that had not been out of his house for 2 years and wrote us that using the product helped him. He'd just been for dinner with his friends at a restaurant, and like a
Wow.
lot of people that have just struggled with stress anxiety, and often it's like the daily stuff. It's just uh, finances, kids, work, and just not being able to self-regulate, and very often knowing that they should. Right, that's a common
Right.
story.
That's the
Which, like,
thing.
I know I needed to, like, I can't meditate. I've been trying, and I got this product, and finally, I can relax. I also was at a conference, and I was speaking at a conference, and a mother came up speaking with me afterwards and said that her teenage daughter had a lot of anxiety and stress issues, and that it's completely changed everything. And now, if she just knew that she had the Sensate in her bag, she was like not have a panic attack, or just knowing that it was with her was
Wow.
helping. So those things are very,
That's
very nice to
cool.
hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like a Pavlov's dog response, right? Like you see it, and you're like, no, you're already relaxing. So that is really cool. I'm sure that there's many many testimonials that you guys can get into with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and that's too. Like it's like when you are working so hard every single day, like what are you doing it for? but you guys truly have just a powerful mission in you're helping so many people. So like you said, it does help your team every single day to see those responses of people using it and just the impact that you're making in the world. So keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love it. So can you tell me just from like a practical, maybe tell me how like your best case use, like how do you use it, or what do you typically recommend for somebody who's never used it before? What time of day, how long, those type of things.
Yeah. So this sort of recommendation out of the clinic is 10 minutes per day. And that is more like to create a habit and preventative. What's fascinating is like so many of our users use it very needs based. So they might have a stressful day and use it several times one day, and then not use it for 2 days and whatnot. But they constantly keep using it. So that's really lovely to see that it really has that function in their
That's great.
lives. But yeah, the sort of shortest session is around 10 minutes, and that's what we've seen in the Step and Asini clinic, that much shorter than that. Some people won't actually get to a relaxed state, and then
Right.
they're less likely to come back. So it's, and, obviously if there is someone that isn't able to do that, they need to, keep trying. But generally people really feel relax, going to a more relaxed state in the very first session, right?
Right.
And so personally, as I mentioned, I am more in the optimizer space.
Hmm.
I definitely have stressful times with the
Of
business,
course.
as you can imagine.
Yes.
And for me, mostly it's an afternoon session.
Mm.
And that is actually not the most common. A lot of people also use it before sleeping, so we can get to the sleep use case
Yes.
in a
Yes.
minute. But for me, this kind of hitting an afternoon wall where I just want a coffee and something sweet,
Yes. Right.
and especially if, I haven't had optimal sleep, which generally I have great sleep, which I'm very
Good.
grateful for. Then, but even just to reset the nervous system. And I work very high speed. I think, so many people look at my diary and go like, how do you do this?
Oh my gosh,
Like,
I love it. Yeah.
I often have 12, 13, 14 meetings in one day.
Oh my goodness.
And I work often late, and I'm not advocating that. I'm not glamorizing it. It's just a
Right.
stage we're at with the company right now.
Hmm.
And I'm so deeply committed. And I think also when you have purpose, it's so much easier to work those
So
hours.
true, right?
But it is absolutely necessary for me to survive working this way, that I
Mm.
look after my own nervous system. So for me, it is that afternoon session where I'm like, whoop, I feel the wall coming. I'm like, where do I have a gap between meetings? There it is, half an hour. And then I can just go and do a Sensate session. And there is nothing else. And I'm a alchemy breathwork practitioner. I have meditated for many years. There's
Yeah.
nothing else I can do that gives me more recharge in that short amount of time.
Right.
So that is my personal main use. Then, yeah, definitely
I love that.
when I travel, because I don't get as good sleep when I travel, and
So
then
true.
I will use it more frequently, definitely on planes.
Hmm.
So I was thinking if there are any other like interesting um, use cases, but I mean, you can imagine. I'm sure.
Which, because you said you're using the 12-minute session. I don't think I've used that one yet. What is that one?
Oh,
I know. So they have a great app too. So that's where you can kind of choose your. I'll see if it'll show on the screen too.
so um,
Yeah, you get to
uh,
select a different soundscape. I'm kind of showing it on the screen too. So yeah. Is it Come Home? Because I see one for 12 minutes. Come Home.
yes, that's the
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
try
one.
that one this afternoon, Anna.
Yeah, and then I like the Black Noir as well. I like all of
Okay.
them. Be Sensate, Forest, Art are some of my favorites. And obviously there's little favorite sessions. I can tell you
Yes.
exactly which my
That's what I.
favorites are.
And depending on like you said, maybe an afternoon session might be different than a sleep session.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people use it for sleep, and that was kind of a use case that wasn't originally intended. But we have almost 25% of our users are actually using it for sleeping.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of different use cases, both to wind down before sleeping, and that's actually occasionally I will do that when I have like worked right up until I go to
Yeah.
bed, which is no one
Wired.
should ever do.
Mhm.
And so your nervous system is all very active, and then so a lot of people use it before sleeping and that's also an optimizer thing to improve sleep quality. So just go straight into deeper rest. But then also people use it when we have a lot of users that wake up early in the morning in the witching hour
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately.
and can't fall back asleep, right? You can
Mhm.
wake up and it's not like necessarily having a massive impact on your sleep as long as you're able to go back to sleep. And what's interesting is that a lot of people fall back asleep, or if they continue to use Sensate, it's the same thing that happens to me. You actually get deep rest. So even if you're staying in bed and maybe doing 2 or 3 Sensate sessions, you didn't really sleep, but you actually got a deep rest. So when you then finally get out, you're more rested. And it has happened to me, especially on flights as well.
Yeah.
And I've like sitting on a flight that I've done Sensate sessions, and it's actually registered on my Oura Ring as sleep.
That's
So
incredible.
yeah,
Okay. I'm gonna, because I have the Health Optimization Summit in London coming up, so
yeah.
I will make sure that that is in my carry-on bag, and because I always struggle, especially with, like, jet lag too, so, I'll make sure to utilize that on the plane. Oh, good. Okay, so then yeah, so definitely helps with the sleep. So going forward for Sensate, I know you are gonna be starting off, can you speak to just what's coming next with Sensate?
What's coming next? Yeah, so state red, just from a business perspective, full transparency has definitely been a like challenging
Yeah.
few months. Of There's like a lot of different things that have happened in the last sort of 18 months. And also I think the funding landscape was quite tricky last year, but we
Yeah.
have got really good revenue. So like that
Great.
means that, but I think a lot of people that don't run companies, like just understanding how you obviously need to sell a certain volume at a certain performance. And I think a lot of people don't think about how much money you need to spend on marketing to reach out to people, to find out about the product and all of that. So
It's
anyone
crazy.
out there who's using a product that they like, whether it's ours or others, giving honest, real reviews and sharing like really helps these small brands,
Yeah.
that are trying to get the information out there and that have really, really great products. But things are going really, really well on the product. As mentioned, it's doing so well for so many people. And we have a funding round just
Yes.
starting.
I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
so looking for aligned investors to really support us. We have already signed a term sheet, so we have a lead investor, which is
Great.
amazing, and they are very values aligned and awesome. And this gets us to break even. So very excited
Great.
about that as well. And then hopefully we can help many, many, many more people.
That's the thing. Yeah, because like we talked about in the very beginning, just everybody is dealing with, many, unfortunately, high stress levels. And yeah, the work that you're doing, there's like such a purpose behind it, nervous system regulation. So yeah, it's a true purpose and mission that your company is doing. So I'll make sure that I put my review in because I haven't done that yet. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah, yeah, and just continue to spread the word and share. So for people listening to, share the podcast and share this with a friend, and maybe gift Sensate to somebody that you love. I love
Yeah, it
that.
is actually a very popular gift. Very popular gift.
Yes.
Because again, like it has so many positive benefits.
Mm-hmm.
So we do definitely see a lot of people also buying one for themselves, then buying one for, or very common as well. They bought one for themselves. Someone in their family took it, and
Yeah, you're
then
like, wait,
buy another one.
that
Yeah,
was
so that's
mine.
lovely to see. Yeah.
That's a good problem if they're wanting to, downregulate a bit. I love that. So, okay. So then, yeah, the investment round. So we'll make sure we can kind of spread the news for that. Do you see any kind of changes in where nervous system technology is going to head in the next, say, 5 years?
Yes, I think there's so much happening. And like I always see anything happening in this field with so much joy because we collectively need to educate the market about and I think also like it's about empowering people. Like if they understand that there are tools that actually really work, and there are ways to self-regulate, we definitely want to take people on a journey. Like I the biggest mission of the company is that the Sensate is no longer needed. That will probably
Yes.
be like 500 years.
Very
but
true. Hmm.
but just helping people along, like empowering themselves to self-manage. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things happening and a lot of attention into this field. I think we're talking more and more about the vagus nerve. It's still largely unknown, to be honest,
Mm,
in a sort of wider audience, especially if we talk sort of US market. In our areas of circles, it's much more well known.
it
So
is. Yes.
that's great. And I mean, like we have a lot more on the roadmap, more sort of next year onwards. Um, but for now, we're really focusing just on making sure that we completely stabilize the business and can get through. And we make continuous improvements to the product, which are not
Yeah.
necessarily visible. So improvements both on the firmware and the hardware
Oh,
and all
that's
of that.
great.
But sort of any sort of interesting major releases, more like next year.
Okay.
We're overdue for our users to update the app. So that will also happen at some point in the coming months.
Okay, good, good. Well, make sure to let us know. We can announce that too. But that's in Inside Life Network
Thank
too.
you. Mhm.
Yeah, just to let people know. And I think that's great. I love that you're really focusing on just making what you have just solid and good, and just continuing to improve that. And yeah, because there will be some big shifts and changes. The world is changing so fast right now. So make sure your head spin. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, and I like you did hit the nail on the head there with there's a lot of, people in our space, biohackers, longevity experts, that they do understand the importance of, nervous system regulation, and they understand vagal nerve tone, things like that. But for people who are listening right now who do not know vagal nerve tone, like the vagus nerve, parasympathetic, sympathetic, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I'll try to do this sort of simplified version. So so first of all, the vagus nerve, right? Longest cranial nerve. It actually has two sides, the left and the right. It goes from the back of the head by the ear down and goes into all the organs. So it's an incredibly important nerve that we all should worship, know, and be grateful for.
Yeah.
And it does a lot of different functions in the body. But for the purpose of stress, it sort of regulates the stress response. So when we talk about good vagal nerve tone, that means really that the nerve can very rapidly respond to triggers and counter the negative effects of the stress response. So the stress response is like, okay, and this is the problem in our daily lives, right? Rather than having actual real dangers, it's threatening emails and other situations.
Not the
And
tiger.
exactly,
Yeah.
and not the tiger. And then we activate a lot of functions that are really meant for fight or flight.
Right.
And that includes suppressing energy hungry functions in the body that are not needed for short-term survival,
Interesting.
such as digestion,
Hmm.
such as immune system, such as reproductive function, and also prefrontal cortex activity, which is
Right.
also very heavy. So as an executive, like we obviously need to consider that on our ability to problem solve, our ability to make good decisions, to see the
Yeah.
big picture, that if have activated stress response, we're actually suppressing our executive part of the mind.
Goodness, that's scary.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that is actually like another part of my true purpose, which is in a society where people are constantly vigilant and we so easily activate the stress response. Look at how we're acting towards each other.
True.
And we can't really function if we're constantly acting out of fear.
Hmm.
Society doesn't work.
No, that's scary.
So yeah, so for me as well, just the mission of building individual and collective nervous system resiliency is definitely a very, very deep part of the mission for me personally. So yeah, and like that is sort of the basics of the function. And so good vagal nerve tone really means that we like sort of like the nerve very quickly responds and counters all those functions, and then we maintain what should I call, like almost like the control of these
True.
functions, right? So we can
Yeah,
make a decision. Oh, is this like how do I want to respond to this? How do I want to react to this? Instead of acting out of fear
that
and
makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, that's super helpful. Yes, because I know those words are thrown around all the time in our industry too. But yeah, for people tuning in, we have, all sorts of members inside Life Network that are, maybe just scratching the surface of learning about all these things too, or, or they're younger. We have, a very wide range, age range as well too. So
Yeah,
people just
amazing if you
learning.
start these practices when you're young, right? And actually build
Yes.
that into your life and build that stress resiliency. Because again, just an empowering thought is that the by regularly practicing to be in parasympathetic state, we shift towards that, we strengthen our vagal nerve tone, and we start to build that preventatively. So there are two sides of it. One, which is obviously having a practice to come out of a stress state when you're activated, but
Mm-hmm.
then also to keep building the strength of the parasympathetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And retraining it. And yeah,
yeah.
that's incredible. That's, oh, yeah. Like I said, like keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing such great work. So I'm excited to see what's ahead for you and your company. I would love to know. I always like to ask our guests a couple kind of just personal rapid fire questions. So, other than Sensate, what is a wellness habit that you swear by?
So I would say my sleep, like I do not compromise on my sleep. There are so many other things I compromise on, like definitely making sure that I'm getting exercise, but um even on a stressful day, I will do a little less. I'll just be taking the dog or doing like a few little
Right.
jumping jacks and a few, like I
Right.
will squeeze my exercise practice sometimes. I will not compromise my sleep because it like immediately goes down like a negative a spiral of my energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that would definitely be my number one. I do track a lot of metrics, like that
Yeah.
with
With Aura.
Oura Ring.
Yeah.
I do tend to also do regular some kind of functional medicine testing. I'm deeply grateful for functional medicine, but and that is just knowing that if anything over time, just with age, just all the chemicals we're exposed to and stress and everything, like some things can get a little out of balance.
Very
And
true.
the fact that we today have the ability to early detect and course correct instead of end up being sick, that's
Mm.
also something that this community is so privileged to have access and awareness of, because I think a lot of people don't even know that the level of knowledge about the body that functional medicine has even exists. And then based on that, I will then course correct some habits. I will change sometimes exercise. I will change sometimes the supplements or things that I'm eating. So yeah, so that means that like there's, I would say I'm flexible to look at my life conditions. If I have
Yes.
really high stress, sometimes I actually have to do less intense exercise.
Exactly.
And so it really kind of depends on what my metrics are showing and how I'm feeling. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
subjective well-being is extremely important.
Very true.
I have a lot of different tools. Breathwork is another very important tool of mine,
Yeah.
and including the rather intense like alchemy breathwork, which is
Okay.
like especially that's almost like resetting my spirit. Like it's
Wow.
like
That's
very profound if I feel like I
amazing.
get too much into my head or something like that.
Yeah.
But I also find it's really fascinating physical healing sometimes where, reduction in inflammation and all of that, but you're highly oxygenating in a conscious way your body.
True.
So, um, and then I do little other things here and there, but those are practices that I definitely regularly do.
That's good. Is there something that you use, like an app or anything, or a program for the alchemy? Or you said you were trained as an alchemy breath practitioner, or
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like I don't know, they do sessions online every Sunday morning. So I
okay.
join that sometimes, but
Oh, cool.
because I practiced in it, and I do think that it's great to do one-on-one sessions actually, because facilitators can really help if something quite deep comes up, because when we activate the whole nervous system in this way, sometimes people, a lot of things can get activated. So I do
True.
think it's great to have an experienced practitioner.
Hmm.
I can self-nurse a lot. Because I've done tons of this, and, we can go down a rabbit hole. All the retreats I've gone to, like I've done
Yeah,
several Vipassanas, I've
I'm
done
sure.
plant medicine, like all sorts of things. So
Yeah.
I almost have like a small part of me that is alert and is looking after me when I'm in session. So I do it also a lot, and sometimes I find it actually really profound to do deep sessions on my own.
Okay, that's good to know. Yes, it's powerful, and I'm sure you probably read The Body Keeps the Score, and
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
yeah, just how many times during those sessions, different things can be
Waking the
brought up. And
Tiger is another really good book.
okay, I have not read that one. I'll have
Yeah.
to read that one. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll make sure to link both of those too, because yeah, those are powerful books to read and just understand just trauma in the body and
Yeah.
just how it manifests. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but if you're not going to deal with it during the traumatic session, it will unfortunately manifest itself in another way in time or shape or form. And yeah, it's and you don't want it there.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotta get
exactly.
it out.
And again, it's doable. Like everything is
Yeah.
doable. It's just being very gentle. And I think what is fascinating as well with things like breath work, you can actually relieve stuck emotion without knowing what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't
So
have to
true.
talk about it, relive it.
No.
It's just this incredibly strong wave that's come out of you in some shape or
Mm-hmm.
form. Yeah, like sometimes people, it comes out vocally, sometimes, in body movement or like shaking. And I
True.
was like, well, that was that one, been stuck for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've had so many people also, um, you know, coming up after sessions and just like and long time after, like
Right.
how powerful those things are. So
Yeah.
I think there's a deep work. This like
Yes.
going away on retreat, going really deep, and I call it like going into the roots because
Mm.
I think it's like yin yang of the personal development as well. Sometimes you need to take action. It's the habits. It's the breaking the patterns is something that I'm working
Mm-hmm.
on right now, where I notice I'm doing something that's a pattern, like break the pattern. How to break the pattern?
Yes.
And that is kind of the yang practices. But then there is the yin, which is like you have to go into the root sometimes. And when you resolve something on a root level, boom, 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 it just trickles out into your life, and just like so many things at the same time just resolves. So very fascinating, a deep rabbit
Beautiful.
hole, but the
Yeah.
nervous system is just so fascinating.
So
And I do
fascinating.
like that's where I really just kind of, if I have a message like neuroplasticity is real, like everyone can really rewire and resolve whatever is stored.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So then the one of the other questions too, and you kind of spoke to this a little bit too, what's a belief or a habit that you've outgrown, and what is something that you're replacing it with?
Yeah, I used to think, and I might even have gone too far, but I used to think that I was sort of procrastinator and a bit lazy. This is when I was young. I was reflecting over this when I was like 12 years old. And then I'm like, oh, well, interesting. Like, why is that? And I actually started to think about how I work at a very young age. And like, if I see a pattern, I'm like, well, if there's a pattern, that's me.
Yeah.
Because if other people don't have this pattern and I have this pattern, then it's something that's in me, but then I can do something about it. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so I started exploring things. Even like when I was in college, I started doing qigong and things like that. And then now I am, in most people's mind, probably closer to a workaholic, but
Yeah. So
it's
you
coming
completely
from
flipped it.
passion. Like it's coming.
Yes. And
I don't
purpose.
feel like I'm pushing myself. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love what I'm doing. I'm on a
Yes.
mission. I want to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So that is just such an almost like an extreme shift where I wouldn't even have recognized myself.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's good because like you said, like you constantly evaluate those patterns of the things that we just habitually do too. And it's like you said that it was a pattern, but it's something that you can change because it was something within you anyway. So yeah, so you did completely change it. That's incredible. That's a good thing for people to pay attention to. And just because you have, maybe something that you've always done doesn't mean that's the way it has to always be.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I could add to that as well. Like I probably did go a little bit too far. I was near burnout a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like then I'm like, okay, well, that's also a pattern. And
Mm-hmm.
like, let's fix that. So now
Exactly.
I'm much more in like, how do I look after my nervous system with a lot more gentleness and if I can feel now in my body if I
Right.
start to burn adrenaline, and then I'll just no then go and take
Do
the
your
dog for a
sensate.
walk, do a Sensate session, whatever it is. So
Yeah.
so it's I think it's constant work, right?
It is, and it's something that, I'm very much very similar, just, yeah, workaholic and just I have gone into very high stress and burnout, unfortunately,
Mm,
owning my own businesses
mm.
before, and but I think now just like, with age comes wisdom and you just learn, what to do and not do and not to, you're more aware of when you do start to tap into that and
Yeah.
what to do to not to get into that or spiral down too quickly, because you can get out of it quickly too.
And isn't it amazing to work in this space where we get to come across all these amazing products and amazing people and amazing practices?
So true.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's yeah, such a blessing. It's a very just incredible time to be alive. There's so many things happening all around us all the time, and things are changing so fast too. And just, yeah, it's we, have the ability to talk to each other, and it's meet incredible people, and just the work that you guys are putting into your products. So, yeah. Oh, and can you please just let people know where to find you, where to find Sensate, and all those good things?
Yeah, absolutely. So getsensate.com is the website, GETSENSATE.com, where my Sensate on social media. So MYSENSATE. And I'm on LinkedIn. Don't do much other social media. So Anna Gudmundson on LinkedIn. Yeah, I think those are good ways to connect.
That's amazing. Well, we'll make sure to link all of this below. And then we also have it inside Life Market too, so
Yeah.
people can check it out there. Is there a final just word of encouragement for anybody listening who feels completely stressed and depleted, or just any last thing that we weren't able to mention?
Mm. Yeah, like self-love, self-care,
Mm,
like it is. I think a lot of people are just having a difficult time right now. It's high pressure for so many people.
mhm.
And so I think it's just knowing that yeah, it's not just for an individual. And then just take one step for self-care. It could
Yeah.
be getting a sunset, it could be learning a really relaxing breathing exercise that we
Mhm.
establish a habit with. But yeah, I think the gentleness and the self-love and care
That's
is
good.
is such an important element.
Yes, gentleness too. I love that word, because it's sometimes it can seem overwhelming, all the things that we want to, maybe try or add or do. But like you said, just start, maybe with one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and simplify
Mm.
it. So, oh, thank you, Anna, and for everybody tuning in. Just make sure to share this with people so they can connect and learn more about Sensate, and just I'm grateful for you for showing up today and for all the work that you do in the world. So, thank you, Anna, for being here.
Mutual. This was so nice. Thank you,
Oh,
Karie.
it's wonderful. Thank you. Thanks everybody for tuning into Life Network's Life Lounge today, and we'll see you inside the network.